Hey, hi guys, Dr. Dan Nightingale here, your clinical dementia specialist. I hope you're having a good day. I'm certainly having a good day. I'm helping people as always, and that always makes me very, very happy and very joyous. So that's pretty cool. The weather today in northern Arizona is very stormy. There's a lot of thunder, lightning, rain. It's something that we don't see very often out here, so everybody's enjoying it, I believe, especially my horses. My horses love to stand out in the rain and enjoy it. I have a pig. People who know me and follow me know that we have the farm and the farm animals, and we have the pig, and he's not happy. He doesn't like it. He's not keen, but the horses absolutely love it. And the chickens don't seem to be too bothered about it either. The cats don't seem too bothered. My dog Buddy, he doesn't like getting his paws wet, so he shies away from it. Yeah, it's very, very refreshing. I want to talk about the negative impact of loneliness. You know, there's lots of research being done now to demonstrate that loneliness increases a risk of getting dementia. It speeds up dementia when we already have it. It's very negative. Being withdrawn is not a good thing. So socialization is imperative. When you're living an isolated life, unless it's something you've chosen, you've chosen that isolated life. You want that isolated life. You've always been a loner and you always enjoy your own company. Then, this really doesn't appeal or affect you. But it affects the majority of people because as a human being, by the very nature of being Homo sapiens sapien, we are people who live in groups. We like to live in groups. We like to be around other people. We like to be socializing, integrating, engaging. And for people who are living with dementia, it's imperative that we encourage that, and that circles of friends and family and neighbors and all those kind of things are part and parcel of our, let's say, our journey. As we age, and we're getting older and older, sometimes our world begins to get smaller and smaller and smaller because people move, people die, people change. We change friends, we lose friends, we gain new friends, we have no friends, we end up with very few family members, sometimes no family members at all. So it's imperative that we maintain relationships with people. We maintain a level of socialization. We belong to organizations, we belong to clubs, we belong to groups, whether it's a hiking club, a bridge club, whatever it may be. Getting out and doing things, being around other people, engaging with other people. And on one of my videos, I talked about intergenerational mixing, and that's important. It's extremely important that young people and older people build friendships, build relationships, and understand each other's worlds, because it's really important that we do that. Otherwise, we lose respect for each other. And when you look around the world right now, it appears that there is a lot of respect lost for everybody. So let's get out there and let's meet people and let's get involved with things, with projects, with volunteering, with all kinds of things. Let's be involved with it, because that is the only way we prevent ourselves from entering isolation. And I want all my patients who are living with dementia and all their families and all their caregivers and everybody else who is sharing that journey to be doing that, to be socializing, to be engaging, to be around other people. If we're not people, if we're not overly keen on people, what about animals? Animals can bring us so much joy, so much pleasure. And I know people who aren't so keen on other people, but they do love animals. And fortunately for me, I love both. You know, I like people and I like animals, and I like being around all of them. So that can be a possibility. You know, having animal, have a pet, staying in contact with animals, staying in contact with pets, going to the zoo, going to volunteer a shelter, an animal rescue shelter. If you can't manage your own pet, if you don't want to have your own pet, go and manage somebody else's. Go and do that, because it can be a lot easier at the end of the day, and you still have the contact. So I can give you an example of what might happen, okay? So just imagine you live in this apartment and you've lived there for 20 years, and every Friday night you meet your best friend. Every Friday night, without fail. 7 o'clock at night, you meet your best friend in the local bar, in the pub, and you have a couple of sherries, a few bevies, you know. And then after that, you usually go and have something to eat, maybe a pizza, maybe an Indian food, a Chinese meal, whatever it is, you go and have a meal, and then after that, maybe go and have a few more drinks, and then you go home, back to your apartment. So, Friday afternoon, this person, this individual, this guy, he goes into town. And he goes into town every Friday afternoon, without fail. Every Friday afternoon, he goes to town to do some shopping. And then he goes back to his apartment, gets himself ready, then goes to meet his friend at the local bar. On this occasion, he's doing his shopping in the store that he always goes to. And suddenly he's overcome by this feeling of being lost, disorientated, not sure where he is. And he begins to panic and get very anxious and get very frightened. And the more anxious and the more panicky and the more frightened he gets, the worse it becomes. And he starts to panic and he starts to walk around, and he's trying to find his way out of the door. He can't find the door, and eventually he does find the door, and he gets outside and he falls to the floor sobbing and hyperventilating because he's in such a state of fear and panic and anxiety. He's breathing heavy. People gather around and say, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And the guy's frightened and he can't speak and he looks terrified, and people don't know what to do. And there's a police officer passing by and they call him over, and the police officer takes over and eventually calms this guy down to the point where he's able to find himself again and recognize where he is and realize that something weird had just happened. And the police officer helps him walk back to his apartment. He goes in his apartment, he closes the door, he locks the door, he sits down in his chair, and he doesn't move because he's thinking, what if I go out tonight and this happens again? What if I forget my best friend's name? What if I get which bar I'm supposed to go to and meet? What if I get lost coming home and the police have to take me home? How embarrassing is that? I'm going to stay in. I'm not going out. And from that moment on, this individual becomes diminished, becomes withdrawn from everything and everybody, and just becomes this person controlled by dementia. Okay? What we need to make sure happens is that individual is encouraged to go out again, to socialize again, to be part of the community, to enjoy being where he is, to enjoy being around friends and family and those kind of things. So isolation is a killer. It will kill people. Don't isolate yourself. Okay, don't let people isolate themselves. Encourage integration, encourage engagement, encourage the person to stay involved. Okay, and that way we improve quality of life, which is what we're trying to do in every aspect of supporting somebody to live well with their cognitive change. Okay. Thank you for listening. I'll put my glasses back on then. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic evening, and you know where I am. Thank you for following me. Thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel. Share it with other people. Share, share, share. The more people around the world that see these videos, the more education people have, and the better we are all around, because there are almost 6 million people in the US living with dementia. 6 million. And those are the people we know about. There are many, many more that haven't been identified, that haven't been diagnosed yet. In the UK, very similar situation. Many, many people living with dementia. And they're not all old people, younger people too. Children also. So the more people we educate, the better. And once again, thank you. If you're not following me, do so. If you know people who need to follow me, send them the link. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Ask me any questions you might want to ask me. I'm available to answer them. You can email me, drdanielnightingale.com. You can look on my website, drdanielnightingale.com. You can contact me through Psychology Today. You can always find me, okay? I'm very findable. I'm out there. Google, everything, everywhere, okay? Have a fantastic time, guys. And remember, I'm here to help you all, okay? Take care, and I will check in with you again next week.